Little T Studio presents a polymer clay tutorial for making polymer clay lollipops. These lollipops in this tutorial will be turned into earrings. By using the techniques to make lollipops, you can also make miniature candy sticks such as these. Let's get the boring legal stuff out of the way quickly so we can start having some fun. Neither Tanya McElroy nor Little T Studio are responsible for liability for injury resulting from the use of recommended tools, materials, and techniques in my tutorials. The instructions and methods given in these tutorials have been tested and represented in good faith. No part of this tutorial may be reproduced or stored in a retrieval system without the prior written permission of Little T Studio. Also, these lollipops are small and may be a choking hazard to small children. Get ready to pause this tutorial because now we're going to look at all of the tools that you will need to make this project. We're going to go through each of the tools later on in this tutorial, but this is a great overview of all of the things that you'll need to make polymer clay lollipops. So first we've got our working mat, and next we want to get a nice piece of cotton or linen so we can wipe our hands on it. We're also going to need a ruler so that we can measure out the pieces of clay for our lollipops. We also will need scissors for cutting the plastic tags for the lollipop sticks. And then we'll also need some type of a cutting tool. I use a single-edged blade, but you can also use a plastic knife. And then some parchment paper for working with our lollipops. And of course, we need our clothing tags. These are perfect for little lollipop sticks, and it's also a great reason to go shopping and get yourself some tags. And then last but not least, we want our clay. So I have my Fima White, as well as my Sculpey and my Primo in the two shades of pink that we're going to be using today. Getting the right colors are important, so I've created color chips from all of the different colors of clay that are out there and then mark them with the appropriate numbers. This way you can see what it's going to look like after it's baked, because a lot of times the color that you see in the block of clay before it's cured and then afterwards are two very different things. So let's begin sculpting. First we want to start using our white clay and kneading the clay to get it ready for rolling. Now a little T tip is always work with your light colors first and then your dark colors. This way there's no color transfer. For example, if I was to use the dark pink first, that's going to put transfer on my white clay, not what we want. So what we're going to do is knead this white clay and then roll it into a log. We're going to roll this until it becomes about 1/4 of an inch thick, and it's going to look something like this. So we want to measure that to make sure that it's right, because with the lollipops it's important to have accuracy. So it looks good. We're going to set it off to the side, and now we're going to start with our light pink. Again, knead the clay, make it soft, and then start rolling it into a log. And with the light clay, we want to make a log that's only 4 millimeters thick. So let's measure that and make sure that it's accurate. That looks good. All right, we're going to set that off to the side, and now we're going to take our dark pink, knead that clay, and also roll that into a log. Now we want that one to be 4 millimeters thick as well. So we're going to measure that, make sure it's accurate, it looks good, and we're ready to move forward. So now what we want to do is line up each of our pieces of clay that we've rolled out. So we've got our white, we've got our light pink, and our dark pink. Now you'll notice that they're not all the same length. That's not good. We need to fix that. So we're going to take our cutting agent and we're going to line it up to the shortest piece, which is the light pink. Cut off that excess clay and remove it. Now we're going to very gently squeeze the pieces together. So what you're doing is creating kind of a flat log, really, with the pink, the white, the light pink, the white, and the dark pink. Then we're going to slowly squeeze without a lot of pressure, just really get the pieces to adhere to the white. Now if I was going to make a rainbow lollipop, I can just add the additional colors, but I want to make sure that there's white in between each of the colors like you see here. That will make sure that the lollipop swirl stays properly as well as keeps the white in between each of the colors. So we're going to do a little more squeezing just to make sure that our pink is firmly attached. And once it starts to feel like it has a good firm hold, then we're going to start very gently rolling. As you roll, be careful to not let the pinks mix with each other. You want to keep them separate so that you get a really nice crisp swirl when we get to that stage. Sometimes it's easier to have a step-by-step sheet of paper next to you while you're working on a project. So I've created full-color, step-by-step, print-ready PDF tutorials that you can get on my website. Each tutorial has been created with a lot of thought in mind to make it easy for you. Simply visit littletstudio.com and click on the shop button for tutorials, items from the tutorials, and lots of other fun stuff. So now I'm done rolling. It's nice and thin, and now we're going to let the magic begin. Simply hold the clay in one hand and twist gently with the other. And you can see how each of the little swirls are created. Pretty cool, huh? We're going to keep doing this all the way down our log of clay. So now we're going to turn these into lollipops. Now if you want to do dollhouse miniature scale, 1 inch long is probably good. If you're looking to do earrings, then you'd probably want to do 1 1/4 inches. If you're looking to do candy sticks, then you're done. Just cut the little sticks from here and bake it. Now to make a lollipop swirl, we're going to make a snail shape. So simply roll the clay like as if you're making a snail, and now you have a lollipop top. Next, we're going to take our clothing tags and we're going to cut them down to size. Now if you don't want a tag on your lollipop, if you don't want a lollipop stick, then just simply skip over this step. But for those who want the little sticks, just simply cut it down to size, and then what we're going to do is actually insert that into the lollipop. I bake mine with the little sticks in there. These cook so quickly that the plastic doesn't have time to melt. And there you go. You've got a little lollipop with a stick. So once you've baked and cooled your earrings, simply glue the hardware to the back for stud earrings. If you'd like to make dangly earrings, simply attach the appropriate jump rings and hardware. Well, this concludes our tutorial on how to make lollipops. If you have questions or tutorial suggestions, feel free to contact me at littletstudio@yahoo.com. Thank you and happy crafting!